Hey, welcome back to my channel. Today we're in a little bit of a different setting. We're not doing a vlog. We are doing something a little bit different. We are doing Worth the Read Wednesday, where I read a book and I tell you if it's worth the read or not. And normally I do a TBR Tuesdays, which is where I will pick a book from my TBR, I will read it, and then hopefully on the Worth the Read Wednesday I will tell you if it is worth the read. Am I going to try and read a book in a day? No. But with this one, I did. Now today's book is from my Kindle Unlimited. I've had this Kindle for about 2 years now and I love taking it everywhere with me. So today's book is Bulletproof. I'll put the cover up by here so that you guys can see it. This book, I don't even know where to start with this book. This book was amazing. So let's start with stars. So I rate this book, I'm going to give it 4 stars. Let's give it 4 stars. This book was fantastic. It's probably one of my favourite reads of this year. And I've read a lot of books, but I'm glad that I'm starting off this kind of series nice and strong with this book. I think the only thing I'm going to give it to make it 5 stars, and I know this sounds strange, was if it was longer. Now this book, I'm pretty sure, and I may have to edit the clip, but I'm pretty sure it's in the 370 page, 327-ish. It was above 300 pages anyway. And you know when you kind of get halfway in, like I was hooked, and I mean hooked, from the first chapter of this book. It had me in a chokehold. And it was definitely a genre of book that I've never read before. It's a dark, and I mean dark, military, dark forces romance. True, proper enemies to lovers. He is a bully. He falls for her first. Chef's kiss. Absolutely amazing. But like I said, it was above the 300 range. And when I got to 200, everything was going amazing. Everything was so good. I thought the book was going to end on a good note. And then you see, you've got 100 pages left. And you think to yourself, oh God, here we go. But so much happened in the last 100 pages that I didn't have time to process any of it. Like, I'm not going to spoil it. Like, this is a spoiler-free zone. But so much happened in this book that I didn't have time to kind of process what was happening. I was like, whoa, and then this happened, and then this happened, and then all of a sudden it ended. And I was like, what? Like, I was waiting for more. So if it had even 100 more pages that just kind of went into depth about the last 100 pages, I'd be happy, and it would be a 5-star read for me. Spice levels. You know I like a bit of spice in my books. Everybody knows that I like a bit of spice in my books. It keeps it interesting. And I read lots of different genres about it, and this was dark. Please, if you're going to read this book, check your trigger warnings. It is dark. I do not recommend it for anyone that is not good with dark themes. It did hit me in a spot. It was gut-wrenching. I finished this book and I was in tears. I cried. I cried over this book. And not because it was, like, it was sad that there were bits in it that literally had me sobbing. There were bits in it that had me giggling and kicking my feet. But this book was so well written in a way that I just wanted to read it more. I was excited. I was coming home from work and I was excited to sit down and read it. It's so good. Spice levels, I'm going to give it maybe a 2, maybe a 3. It wasn't the most spiciest book I've read. I've read some but this had a great amount. It had just the right level, and it was a bit of a slow burn. We didn't get there until chapter 13. But when chapter 13 hit. It took me by surprise, and it made me do this, if you know. That happened quite a few times in this book, and I think that's what I loved about it so much. It's just so unexpected. There are plot twists, there are turns, there are characters that you didn't know, like, you thought something about them, and then like your perspective of them completely changed when you found out who they actually were. Like it's a mind game. This book was fantastically written. It was engaging. It was gut-wrenching. It hit you in a spot where you were like, can I carry on reading this? because you relate to it in a sense. Again, spoiler-free zone, but if you read some of the trigger warnings in this book, and please do before you pick up any dark romance, but you can kind of relate to it in a sense, and it really hit you like in a spot, and it was fantastic. And I remember I finished it, I cried, and looked at my partner and just said to him, I want to pick it up and I want to read it again. Literally, it's cover to cover. As soon as I was done, I wanted to start from page 1 again, because the book was literally that good, and I haven't read a book like that in a while. I think one thing I will also add is that I really thought it was going to go down a why choose route. I thought it was going to go down that route, but it never did. So that was this week's book. I know it's only a short video, but I thought I'd just keep you a little bit up to date with this amazing book that I have just read. So if you are into your dark forces, if you are into your dark romance, if you're into enemies, lovers, bullies, if you're into all of that kind of trope, yeah. But I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you soon.